Hey guys, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Rina B and what is the Bumbleclad tea?
What's up, what's up, what's up?
Subscribe, will ya? I wanna get into my wisdom bag. I wanna spread a message to the people because this is something that not only have I been consistently working on in my own personal life, but I also see how the effects of being intentional about how you utilize this skill can really show itself in a person. And that's me talking about the power of perception, the power of perspective. How you perceive something is how you receive something, right? And by you receiving it solidifies your perception of that thing. For an example, even though since money seems to be a very big topic for a lot of people, I want to talk about the concept of money. Obviously, in the society that we live in, there's a serious wealth division, which is very, very apparent in our society. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys have heard the phrase, the poor keep getting poorer and the rich keep getting richer. Being around wealthy people that have money, people that have built their businesses from scratch, people that have come from trust fund babies, people that have got into a level of wealth in various different ways. They say the exact same thing. I think a lot of it comes down to your mindset, how you view money, how you see money, like what is your concept of money. I think too many people have a very negative image, negative narratives, negative ideologies surrounding money. Because I think a lot of us that did not come from wealthy families grew up with the idea of that money is evil, money is the root of all evil, etc., which I feel like was high-key done on purpose. Let me clock some tea here. I feel like that was high-key done on purpose to keep the poor. Because realistically, if we're going to talk about this from a objective lens, money is just a tool. It's just paper at the end of the day. Your relationship with money, your mindset around money is how it's what will transform itself into a positive thing or a negative thing for you. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're constantly thinking that money is the root of all evil, money causes problems, etc., or I'm always struggling to pay my bills, or I'm living paycheck to paycheck, this, that, and that, you're gonna forever keep yourself in that cycle. That because number one, you don't have a healthy relationship with money in the first place and how you utilize it. And number two, you don't think that money can be used for good. So you're already setting yourself up for failure psychologically. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas with rich people or that people that understand the power of money and see it as a tool, not as something that is depressing, but something that is that can change lives. Because it does at the end of the day, especially in the system that we live in, it does. People not even necessarily wealthy people, because wealthy people have their wealthy mindset, but people that come from not so well off families, the generational curse breakers that want to break that stigma and want to actually build something for themselves. Me being an example of one of those people, the way I see money, it's not a thing where it's a bad thing. I see money as something that could help me grow, that helps me evolve. That's my perception of it personally. And I think the more that you surround yourself by people with that type of mindset, the more that concept really does solidify itself, which then because of that, then you're constantly attracting better as well. You then solidify that concept that money can be used for good. Money is a good thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So it really comes down to your perspective, which is why the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer, because the rich understand how money works, not even just in the financial literacy part, but they also understand that money isn't a good or a bad thing. It's just a tool. It's how you perceive it and what you then do with it, from having a good outlook on it and wanting to know more about it and wanting to know how to generate more of it and wanting to learn how to manage it properly and how to make it work for you. Because you already have a good perception of it in the first place, is why they keep getting richer and they keep finding more opportunities, or more opportunities keep showing themselves to them to be able to make more. Whereas poor people, they just there's a very negative connotation of it. So because of that, all they see is struggle, all they see is survival, all they see is dread and gloom and evil and misery and da da da. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you're constantly keep telling yourself that, that's all you're gonna see, because that's all your mind perceives it as. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope that's making sense. That leads me to my next point, where a lot of people are heavily focused on the negative aspects of their life. They're too focused on what's not going wrong, what they can't control, what's going bad, the past, all their misery, all their trauma, all the negative things in their life. And because of that, that's all you perceive, that's all you're constantly feeding your brain, that's what your brain will consistently look out for. If we're going to get a bit spiritual here, if you guys understand, or I'm hoping most of you are aware of the law of attraction. I'm a very big spiritual person, but also high-key, sciencey, nerd type of person. Do you know what I'm saying? So I love mixing spirituality and science, because there's a lot of common denominators that you can blend the two together for it to, for one side to back up the other side, and vice versa. Which I don't understand why people love to separate science and spirituality when there's a lot of similar factors between the two. But nonetheless, that's another video for another day. But back to the law of attraction, where the concept of it is basically, everyone thinks that we're all physical matter, when in the science world will tell you that's a bunch of bullshit. Everything, everyone, every object, we all vibrate. We're all actually atoms at the end of the day, and we all vibrate. Everything is always moving. Nothing is ever still. Even though you could see it okay, for this thing, for instance, at the back of me, even though let's say even though in this reality, in this form, I can't put my hand through it. But in the science world, how it translates is because this thing is vibrating at a different frequency than my hand. So because we're not vibrating at the same frequency, I can't go through it. Whereas if I was vibrating at the same frequency, I would be able to go through it, which is where paranormal activity comes into play, and people being able to move through the astral realm, etc., etc. Not to get too nerdy on you guys, but yeah. So back to what I was saying about the frequency thing. We all have energetic force fields around us, right? You may not obviously be able to see it with the naked eye, but I'm pretty sure most of us know that our eyes can only perceive so much. The way we see the world and the way cats and dogs see the world are completely two different things, because our eyes can only take in so much color and such a small spectrum of color. Do you get what I'm saying? Where I think dogs can see ultraviolet and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So they see the world in a completely different way the way we see it. Period. There's definitely a lot more than what meets the eye. Do you get what I'm saying? So because of that, we all have energetic force fields around us, right? And depending on where you are at, vibrating on that field, this probably sounds so cuckoo, but depending on where you are at vibrating will determine what you are attracting. But the only way you can change that is by changing what you perceive. So for instance, a family, of let's say 3 people. One person could be disgustingly wealthy, one person could be disgustingly poor, and one person could be middle class. Now, they all came from the same background, they all came from the same parents, they all started the same. But the only difference between the 3 and why they ended up where they ended up is because one person decided that, no, I'm not going to stay where I grew up in. I'm going to change myself. I'm going to change my frequency. I'm going to intentionally do better and do more and change the way I was brought up so that I can attract better than what I have always known. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas the other person decided to either stay in the same place and not to actually elevate and not to evolve and just to stick with their immediate environment and where they grew up, and that's why they ended up staying where they are. And the other person may have tried to climb the ladder a little bit, but they never really pushed themselves or pushed their limit to how far they could see themselves, whether that's a lack of self-belief or whatever the heck it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Everyone started off at the same playing field, but because each person decided that they wanted to vibrate differently, they wanted to behave differently than when they started off to, because of that, then they were able to look out and see more. And then because they were able to then change the way they see things, change the way they wanted to see the world, they were able to attract a lot better and a lot more for themselves. So that instead of seeing life in such a low vibrational state, they were able to now see opportunities a lot quicker. Blessings were able to approach them a lot quicker. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, which is what elevated them a lot quicker, and that's why they're at the status and the level that they're at. You get me? People underestimate too much how powerful the mind really is, how powerful the tongue really is. I think even as an African, in African culture, we're always told that there's power in the tongue. There's power in the tongue. Don't speak ill upon your life because you never know what it can attract for real, for real. Do you know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, even though we're all like, we were all taught growing up that there's power in the tongue, but I don't think people really understand how powerful it really is. Because the things that you repeatedly tell yourselves is what will stick into your brain. And then from that, your brain will, whatever you say, your brain will take as true regardless. So if you tell yourself you're ugly, your brain will say, okay, yeah, I am ugly. If you tell yourself you're the sexiest, longest thing on this planet, your brain will tell you, yeah, I am the sexiest, longest thing on this planet. Whatever you feed your brain is what it will agree with you regardless. Whether it's positive or negative, your brain does not distinguish good or bad. It just distinguishes what you feed it. So whatever you say, it's what is gonna agree with you regardless. That's the beauty, but also the curse of being a human or just having a human brain, is that you genuinely have the power to change yourself completely if that is what you so wish, if that's what you truly desire. Is where the whole you are the creator of your own reality comes into play, because what you speak to yourself is what your brain will agree with, which is what will solidify your self-concept, which is what will solidify your perception on life, your perspective on life, your belief systems, your morals, your values, etc. Like the foundation of what makes you you, which is what will then attract what you want into your life, whether that's positive or negative. So if you're constantly being self-deprecating, if you're constantly speaking ill upon your life, if you're constantly having negative self-talk upon yourself, why are you surprised when is a consistent reoccurring pattern of bad things that keep happening to you? Why are you surprised when there's a consistent pattern of negative experiences, or that you're constantly finding yourself complaining 24/7, you're constantly struggling with money 24/7, you're constantly attracting toxic and very harmful partnerships and relationships 24/7. You can't keep healthy friendships. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be surprised when these things keep happening to you, when you yourself are feeding yourself these negative things. Because if you're constantly feeding yourself these negative things, that's all your brain can perceive. Because that's all you keep telling yourself. If you're constantly saying, I'm emotionally unavailable, or why do I keep attracting bums, or I'm not good at communication, or I'm bad at this, I'm bad at that. Da, 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 da. If you're constantly putting it out there, your brain is gonna just be saying, okay, yeah, she's right. I agree. So then because of that, that's all you're gonna keep attracting, babe. That's it. That's all you're going to keep attracting, because you keep telling yourself, so you're mentally, psychologically confirming that for yourself consistently. So then when bad does come to you, instead of you to clock it from the jump and be like, you know what? No, I don't want this. I don't like this. I don't get away from me. Do you know what I'm saying? You accept it, because in your brain, that's the frequency that you expect yourself to be at. That's the frequency that you keep telling yourself that you're at. So of course you're going to accept that negative experience. You're going to accept that negative emotion, or you're going to accept that low vibrational lifestyle that you know yourself doesn't fully resonate with you, but because you keep telling yourself that, you're going to accept it, because that's where you mentally think that you're at. Now, in order to change this, if you're somebody out there that you're not happy with the quality of your life, and you want to change your perception, you want to change your perspective on life, and so that you can attract better, I think the first thing that needs to be done is to be very intentional. I spoke a lot about being intentional about things. Is to be very, very intentional, especially at the start, because it's not easy. when you're coming from a not so healthy mindset and you're trying to change it, I think a lot of the time you have to be intentional with how you speak to yourself. You have to almost catch yourself when you start speaking ill upon yourself. Be like, whoa, why did I just say that? No, like if you like sometimes you can even be borderline cringe, but you have to then be able to form that habit, because now it's a thing where at first it might feel cringe, where like you're constantly having to stop yourself. Like you might tell yourself, oh, I look ugly today. Bitch, what the fuck? No. Bitch, what the fuck? No, you're not ugly. If you have to do it, then do it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? You have to literally force yourself to catch it when you're speaking bad about yourself, or when you're indulging into negative, very low vibrational things, or low vibrational experiences. And then as you start building that habit, it becomes literally second nature. And now all of a sudden, you're speaking more positively over your life. You look at yourself in your mirror and you're like, wow, I'm leng as fuck. What's going on here, bro? Like, everyone wants to lick my fanny. Like, what's going on here? And the thing is, energy does not lie. If you feel that, if you're when you start speaking good about yourself, when you start putting positivity out there between yourself and other people, your brain once again will say, yeah, you're right. You are sexy. You are leng. You are rich. I'm saying you are intelligent. And because of that, because now your brain is now rewiring itself to think more positively, so now you start seeing more positively, you start emitting a more positive, higher vibrational frequency, and people pick up on that. So now they see you as an intelligent person. Now they see you as a successful person. Now they see you as a confident person. Do you know what I'm saying? Because not only are you talking the talk, but now you're walking the walk. But going back to my point, that also goes when it comes to money. If you're constantly telling yourself you're broke, you're poor, you have to struggle, you have to live paycheck to paycheck, cost of living crisis. Oh my God, that's actually one thing that kind of irks my spirit a little bit. Even though I understand, don't get it twisted, everyone's circumstances is different. Do you know what I'm saying? And me, I can't fully speak too tough, because I'm young, I'm single, I don't have children. My only responsibility is myself, me, and I. Do you get what I'm saying? So people that have children and families, whatever, I know you guys are in different circumstances, so obviously I can't speak too tough. But one thing I hate hearing all the time is people complaining about cost of living. Like, I understand things are going up, everything's getting more expensive, but constantly repeating that to yourself is doing you more harm than good, instead of you to then, because then you just get complacent with having to just stay at where you are. And if you're not willing to do anything about it, to try and make more money, or to try and find, like, do you know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna just keep sinking yourself in a hole. Like, I remember before I became self-employed, like, obviously I was working a normal 9 to 5. Do you know what I'm saying? I wasn't making crazy amounts of money, but even at that, even when I was making like just enough to get me by, I never, you would not catch me saying, oh, cost of living, oh, I'm struggling. No, you would never. Like, I fully even was very intentional. Back to what I was saying about being intentional. I made it my mission to never tell myself that, like, oh, cost of living crisis, that I'm struggling. I never said that to myself, because I said, for what? Why would I speak that over my life? Why would I tell myself that I'm struggling? Why would I keep myself in survival mode when that's not my destiny? That's not what I want for myself. Do you know what I'm saying? And it worked. I didn't struggle. I'm so sorry. Even though I was working a normal job, I never struggled. I paid my bills on time. I paid my rent on time. I was able to travel. I was able to eat good food with a normal basic job. And now that I'm self-employed and I make a lot more money, which I know for 100% is a result of my money mindset at the time. So now it's trickled into me being able to make more money and attract more money into my life. Now it's like, I'm very, very much so not struggling. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, which solidifies my concept now. There may have been a couple of months in the past when I was working my normal job that, I won't lie, things were tight. But I never told myself I was broke. I would never lie, catch myself telling myself I was broke. For what? Broke where? When I have God, why am I being broke for? Why am I being poor for? That's disgusting. I'm so sorry. What? No. Ew, why would I claim that over my life? Like, no. Do you know what I'm saying? So because of that, now now I'm walking in that. I'm now even more confident because I'm like, yeah, I'm not broke, bro. I can't. Maybe I was faking it till I was making it before, but now it's not faking it because I'm actually living my reality now. Do you know what I'm saying? But that came from me being intentional and not speaking ill about my life, you know? Another way that if you're trying to change your perception and perspective on things and just change your entire life, etc., etc. I think a lot of the time, I spoke about it in another video, but I think a lot of the time it is down to the media that you consume. If you're constantly consuming media about people complaining on their living situations, their financial situations, cost of living, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm not okay, I'm that. If you're constantly consuming very low vibrational media, you're going to get consumed into that. You're going to get warped into that. And it's going to end up becoming your reality because that's what you're viewing 24/7. That's what you're feeding your brain. Once again, guys, the power of the brain is unmatched. People don't understand how powerful this noggin of yours is. Like, people, like nations, worlds, systems. This system that we live in was created from the power of someone's mind. Someone, like this patriarchy that we live in, someone said, I want a world where men are quote unquote leaders. Men are the ones that are ruling, calling the shots. Men are the ones that are supposed to be the top gun. And now look at where we are now. Hello? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, someone thought about how they wanted the system to be structured and then put thought to action, put action to thought. And now this is where we are. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, their nations have grown and fallen from just the power of the mind. So don't underestimate how powerful your mind is just because you think you're a normal person. Come on now. You were born on this earth. You're no different from the next bitch. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Period. Okay, guys, my camera actually died, so I'm recording on my phone. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, road to 1K, and I'll see you guys in the next video.